This is Rebecca Fillmore, and I want to welcome you to Her Inspired Mind podcast. Each week, I will be helping you to strengthen your mind, give you life-changing tools, and help you to grow with intention. If you haven't yet, be sure to hit that subscribe or follow button so that you don't miss out on any future episodes. And while you're here, make sure that you leave a star rating and review so that this podcast gets shared all over the world. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Her Inspired Mind podcast. This is your host, Rebecca Fillmore. And today's topic is about identifying what is holding you back. Because the reality is that you can't move forward if you don't face what you can't see. So my question to you is that what if the biggest thing that's standing in your way, it's something that you can't see up until now? Right? Because a lot of times people feel called for more. They pray for breakthroughs. They set goals with excitement. But yet they're still stuck repeating the same cycles over and over again. But here's the thing. Growth doesn't stall because you lack potential. It stalls because of blind spots, avoidance patterns, and emotional triggers that quietly run the show. And today we're going to bring them to the light. So to clarify what blind spots are, they are patterns that you don't notice. They are behaviors that you've been justifying, and they are reactions that feel automatic. And everyone has blind spots. And being aware of these blind spots are going to mature you. And they're also going to open doors for growth and success in your life. And I believe that today God wants to reveal your blind spots to you, but not to shame you, but to set you free. And so we're going to begin by addressing the blind spot of avoidance. And so we're going to allow you to look at maybe some avoidance patterns you've had. And so the first step is to understand what avoidance can look like. So avoidance can look like procrastinating difficult conversations. It can be you being busy with a lot of things instead of focusing on the right things, and overworking to avoid emotional discomfort, numbing through scrolling on social media, food, shopping, and relationships. And in order to begin to see what your blind spots are, you need to ask yourself a few revealing questions. For example, ask yourself, what do I consistently avoid? What do I distract myself with? What conversations or decisions have I avoided for months? The truth is that avoidance gives temporary comfort, but it causes long-term stagnation. It causes you to stay stuck in situations way longer than you have to be. And growth requires you to be honest and to lean in and not pull away when things feel uncomfortable. The other thing that can keep you or could be a blind spot in your life is emotional triggers, right? And so an emotional trigger causes you to have a reaction that might feel bigger than what the moment calls for. For example, if someone criticizes you or gives you feedback, it might feel like rejection to you. If someone is silent, it might feel like abandonment. If someone else is successful, it might make you feel inadequate or like you're not enough. And conflict, when it arises, could feel unsafe. And so triggers reveal any unhealed wounds and insecurities that you might have. And the thing to remember is that triggers are a mirror and they're there to teach you. And so in relation, when it comes to others, when you feel triggered, instead of asking, why are they acting like that? Ask yourself, why did that affect me so deeply the way that it did. Because when you reflect inwardly and you take responsibility for what still needs healing, you get to know yourself better and and then you'll see what still needs healing. And when you heal, that's when you get to grow. And if you feel unsettled and not sure why, it could be a sign that you're not living your greatest capacity. And it could be that something is holding you back in your life. And so here are a few practical indicators that something is holding you back in your life. So you might start things and not finish. You might get distracted easily and go do other things, right? So you like start, stop. You overthink a lot about what you wish you would be doing or what you want to do, but you don't take action. You blame your circumstances on your childhood trauma, on other people, instead of taking accountability for your life. You feel stuck, but you can't explain why. And you repeat the same relational or business patterns. And so it's good to pay attention to patterns because patterns don't lie. And if something keeps repeating, it means that you need to address it and not ignore it. And so I'm going to give you now a few practical steps on how you can recognize what is holding you back. Okay. So slow down. Stop being in such a rush. Stop trying to get from this thing to the next to the next. Be more intentional about being more present in your day-to-day actions and interactions because growth requires you to be aware and it requires you to be more present. Track your emotional reactions. Notice what upsets you and how you react in certain situations. Do you tend to get angry easily? Do you tend to get annoyed easily? Do you tend to feel offended quickly? These are just a few different emotional reactions for you to be more aware of and track what comes up often for you. And as you track, write it down in a journal, because when you track, it helps you to see things better. And when you see the repeated frustrations and outcomes that you have, then you're going to be able to take the right action to change those things. Something else that you want to do is to ask for honest feedback from a trusted friend, a mentor, or a coach, because the people closest to us can often see things that we can't see. And so having someone that you trust will help you to take that a little bit better as well. And then also pray for revelation. Invite God in and ask him to show you what you've been unwilling to see. Because sometimes it's not that God hasn't revealed it to us, but it's more so that we don't want to see, right? Because it hurts sometimes. It hurts sometimes to see our weaknesses or maybe us doing things that we know aren't healthy. And so we try to ignore it, right? But not this time around. This time around, invite God, ask him to reveal and accept what he's trying to show you. And this is not for you to be discouraged or feel ashamed. It's so that you can gain clarity and you can get unstuck. So instead of saying, I'm broken, say, I'm becoming more aware. Instead of saying, I always mess things up, shift it to, this pattern is asking me to change and grow. So it's more about you shifting the dialogue that's in your mind when these things come up rather than going to the negative. Look at it as a positive. The fact that you can change it, the fact that you still have the opportunity to make those changes is a gift. So right now, I want to invite you into a mini reflection exercise that's going to help you to prep your mind for what's going to come up for you as you do these things. All right. So pause and ask yourself, what situation keeps repeating in my life? What emotions show up the most often for me? What do I avoid when I feel overwhelmed? What feedback have I dismissed before? And whatever answers come up for you, write them down. And again, be honest, but don't shame yourself. And understand that even if you've been stuck for a while because of these blind spots, I want you to understand that you're exactly where you're meant to be. You're not behind. You're uncovering layers. And the fact that you're even going to put in the work to do this speaks volumes. And it talks about where you're going to grow and where you're going to go. Because growth is not about becoming someone else. It's about removing what no longer aligns with who you're meant to be. And what you face, you can then change. So I want to just encourage you to take the time to uncover these blind spots. Take the time to be honest and take the time to invite God in this journey with you. Right? And if you feel like you're ready to uncover these blind spots, break these patterns, and move forward with clarity and confidence, but you want someone to walk with you, I would love to walk alongside with you through my Lux Life Coaching one-on-one program. And for organizations and companies, I'm also booking lunch and learn sessions. If you're ready to help your team to develop emotionally awareness and to grow leaders. You can email me for both at rebecca@rebeccafillmore.com. And I also ask you to share this with someone who needs this message. And make sure that you leave a star rating and review so that this podcast can be pushed out, because the more reviews you leave, the more comments you leave, the more they push this out. All right. And if you don't follow yet, make sure that you hit that follow button. I thank you so much for your time, and I'll talk to you guys soon. God bless. Because the reality